I'm now going to make the Jenigami sporting balls. On the CD you actually get 3 variations of this one, basically because the ball's all the same shape, so I've just given you 3 different ways of using it. Probably the main one here is using it as a football, so you actually get this design here to be able to create a football, and you get trainers in various different colours to actually attach to your card as well. We've also used the ball here as a bowling ball, so you get the bowls as well. Bowls, is that what they're called? No, they're called pins or something. Skittles, something like that. Something like that. You can tell I've not been for years. Pins, yeah. So you get the bowling ball and you get the shape here of these to go with it. And finally, I'll probably know even less about this one, you get a golf ball and a tee and I'm going to say a golf racket, but it's not golf. A club for playing golf. But they all use the same ball shape, but you get lots of different designs on the CD to be able to create these different cards. Now what you do get on the CD is you get the whole design as one card. So this is actually cut out as one. Don't know if you can see it here, but they've actually cut out the shape of this and the tee and the ball all as one design to make your own aperture card. That was actually quite fiddly to cut out though, so assuming not everybody wants to go to that extent, what I've also done is just suggest that you buy a plain aperture card or make your own plain aperture card and then just glue the actual shapes to the edges of the aperture card, and that makes it far easier to cut everything out. As you can see, this one, you probably still see my pencil marks. I've just drawn a square there and cut that out, cut out the shapes and then attach them at either side where I wanted them to be, and I think that's far easier to do than to actually cut it out as one. So I've done the same for all of these. I've cut everything out separately and then I've just attached them to a plain aperture card. Now what you may want to do is make up the ball shape before you attach it, but for this one I've already attached it, so I'm just going to show you how I've made it up now. So I've got one ball here. Now you've got 6 of these parts and they're all identical. Now whether you're making the golf ball, the football or the bowling ball, it's all an identical shape that you start with. It's how you decorate it that will make it look different. So for this one, we've stuck it to the card with a single slot at the top and a double slot at the bottom. I'm then going to take one and turn it the opposite way up. So instead of it being like that, it's going to be like this. And I'm going to take the single slot at the bottom and slot it into that single slot at the top. Like so. I'm then going to take another one with a single slot at the bottom and I'm going to slot it into the front here. And then I'll take another with a single slot at the bottom and I'll slot it into the back. So we now have 3 ball shapes going from front to back and one going down the middle to hold them all together. I'm then going to take another one, this time with a slot at the bottom, slot at the top, and I'm going to weave this along the sides here. So it's going to go over this one and then it's going to have to go under the middle one, which I'm going to lie the card flat for, because it's got to go through the actual card here to go into that middle section there, and then it's going to go over the ball at the back. Make sure it doesn't all fall apart while I'm doing that. Okay. As I say, it may be easier to make the ball up before you attach it. I'm going to do exactly the same on this side, so it's a single slot at the top and it's going to go bottom slot over this one, the slot at the top in the middle, under this one here, and the slot on this side is going to go over this one at the very back here. This time I'm going to go through the middle one first, so I'm just going to push the other parts out of the way and I'll push this up through the middle section. There we go. And then I can slot it over and under at the back and the front. And just give it a wee squish. That's how you would make the ball. Then what I've done is I've just taken that side of the ball and attached the training shoe, making sure it overlaps onto the aperture shape so that fits there. For the golf one, I put this through, I think it's called Swiss Dots, for the Cuttlebug, the embossing folder, to make it look a bit more like a golf ball. And this is one of the colourways that comes on the CD for the football, which I think looks quite good. And this one I think is a red option that comes on the CD, so it's more like a real bowling ball, but this one I just did from Miri card. And they all fold perfectly flat for sending to somebody, and then when they open their card up, the ball kind of automatically stands out for them. And there we have the Jenigami sporting balls.